Welcome to our third episode of Spirits and Supernatural. I'm Jenny.
I am Dawn.
So glad you guys have stuck with us. Today we are going to talk about Papa John Winchester.
Why did I just picture him delivering a pizza?
Papa John!
Straight away. Because he's...
We're not making pizza.
No.
I didn't even think about that. We don't have one in my hometown, so it just never even occurred to me. We're talking about Daddy John Winchester. Is that better?
I'm sure somebody out there is like, yeah, Daddy.
Dad. Oh.
Anyways.
Well, Jeffrey Dean Morgan is a good-looking man. It's true. But so I was talking to my daughter the other day. This is has nothing to do with John Winchester, a little bit. It seems like in order to have become a Winchester on the CW, your first name in real life had to start with a J. And you had to be over 6 feet tall. So we have Jensen Ackles, 6'1", Jared Padalecki, 6'5", Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who is at least 6 foot, and then Jake Abel was over 6 foot. So there you go. If your name starts with a J, you're over 6 foot tall, you too could be a Winchester someday. Just something to strive for. Anyhow, the drink we're going to make today for John Winchester is just an old-fashioned.
We started with the cocktail from the book, but instead of using apple brandy, we're going to use apple whiskey. I always thought that old fashions were usually made with whiskey or bourbon, so I was really surprised that called for brandy.
I thought it did call for bourbon.
We had something that called for apple brandy. Where did we get this recipe, Jenny?
We got this recipe in the official Supernatural Join the Hunt cocktail book. I'm going to look it up right now.
I really thought it said apple brandy.
Well, let's find out. Right.
Check the lore.
I'm checking the lore. Let me go.
Jeffrey Dean
Morgan. It
Morgan.
does say apple brandy. You are correct, which is weird because I think old fashions almost always use bourbon.
I've always thought that they did, yeah. Googled it, and Jeffrey Dean Morgan is 6'1". So, yeah. You got to be over 6 foot.
Yep, it's the rule.
Also pretty sure Jared is 6'4", not 6'5", but...
The reason I think he's 6'5" is because he's 4 inches taller than Jensen, and Jensen's 6'1".
How do you know this?
How do you not know this?
Listen, Google is right here. We're just going to find out right now.
Pretty sure I heard them say it in a panel from their own mouths.
6'4", Jared Padalecki.
Yeah, Google's not correct because Jensen said he's 6'1", Jared's 4 inches taller.
Yeah, and I'm sure that they don't exaggerate at all.
I'm sure they do not. What's the point?
Yeah, it's true. What's the difference in an inch when you're that freaking tall?
Jared's a tree. It doesn't matter. So it's okay.
All right.
In this, did you just say everything that was in this, or did you just say whiskey and then we stopped?
So I did say apple whiskey. So this is a little apples and oranges moment that we're having here. Is it called a recipe when you're making a cocktail? Is it still a recipe?
Well, it's called a cocktail book, and when you're cooking, it's called a cookbook. Since they both end with book, I'm going to say yes.
That is the logic we're going to use today.
Let's do it.
So the recipe does call for rubbing some orange peel on the rim to get a little of that oil and essence on the rim of the glass. So I just did that with a mandarin orange because that's what we got. So we're going to do a little bit of, can you hand me the apple whiskey?
Oh, I can, for
This
sure.
is a local distillery close to where we're from. It's called Minglewood Distilling, and this is their apple whiskey. I am a big fan of Minglewood. They make really good.
Where's it located?
It is in Worcester, Ohio.
Well, that is very local.
Isn't it?
Because we are near Worcester, Ohio.
We are.
So there you go.
Their distillery is in an old ice factory.
Okay.
Right on the railroad near downtown Worcester. They make peach, apple, cinnamon whiskeys. They make rye, bourbon.
I didn't even know.
Oh, yeah. They make a lot of really good stuff.
That's really cool.
Their botanical gin is one of my favorites. So this apple whiskey is it smells very sweet. It's very like Jolly Rancher smell.
Oh, then that's dangerous. Sometimes
it's a good
that can be
time.
dangerous. So we're doing 2 ounces of apple whiskey. And Dawn's just going to do 4 ounces, and then we'll split it up. And a half an ounce of simple syrup, which Dawn made herself at home.
Simple syrup is really simple to make. It's literally 1-to-1 on water and sugar.
Perfect.
You can even use honey instead of sugar, but honey will boil over, so you really have to watch it as you go. Yeah, when you're doing that.
And then after the simple syrup, which is half an ounce, we're going to do 3 to 4 dashes of orange bitters. Now, here's something I just learned. Orange bitters, I thought was just like a mixer and didn't have alcohol in it. I was so wrong. It does have alcohol in it. So for the mocktail, you're going to want to use like 2 ounces of apple juice, a half an ounce of simple syrup, and then you would probably just want to use like a dash of orange juice. You wouldn't want to use orange bitters. You could even like
squeeze an orange and just let a little bit of the juice kind of come out.
Because if you're going to use the orange peel around the rim, you'll have the orange juice, an orange, so you can juice it yourself with your bare hands.
You feel super strong.
Juice it. Yeah.
Like Winchester. Yeah. So we're just dashing some orange bitters.
Yes.
This is the first time that I have used bitters in a cocktail. Usually at my house. Wow. That's like interesting.
Yeah, just I'm supposed to do like 4 dashes. Dawn's done like 12. So
I
see.
don't know what is considered a dash on this. So we'll
I guess
see what
I was
happens.
thinking a drop was a dash, but I don't know. What the heck do I know? I didn't know it had alcohol in it until today.
You could definitely add ice too if you want. I'm going to use my stir stick.
Me too.
Mix that up a little bit. I just think this is going to be really, really sweet because being that it's apple whiskey, it already is kind of sweet on its own. Usually at our house, we just mix like our whatever flavored whiskey with ginger ale or Sprite. Is that pretty strong?
It's a little strong. It is sweet. Mm-hmm. Sweet and strong. Oh, wait, we forgot to clink.
We forgot to clink.
I've
been over here stirring.
I'll take that sip back.
Okay. Unsip it. Oh, that was a lovely noise. Ooh,
I don't know what that
was. ASMR comment I made? Oh, whatever that is. Yeah, this is definitely made for sipping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're not going to want to gulp this one. I just think it's because whiskey is such a strong flavor. Mm-hmm. Is whiskey a flavor?
Whiskey has a strong flavor. Okay. Is that what you mean to say?
Yeah, that's what I don't know what I mean to say anymore. I've already had 2 sips and I don't know what I'm saying anymore.
Getting floopy already.
It was good. I like it. But I feel like there's certain drinks, alcohol drinks you can drink that maybe you don't feel as quickly. I always feel like whiskey always feels super warm right away going down. And I think isn't whiskey like a beverage that they would use if somebody had like
a sore throat or something?
Yeah, like a hot toddy. Is that like whiskey or is that rum or
Oh yeah, a hot toddy. I love a hot toddy.
Never had one.
Oh, they're so good and so easy to make. Did you want more ice than that?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
So we'll have to see if we can.
We are not taking our whiskey neat.
Is hot toddy? Is that like a Christmassy type of thing, or is that
not necessarily? I do like to do it in colder weather. So you just make your cup of tea, usually like a black tea, and then you just put like a.
Well, then we'll have to find somebody in the show that we think would be a hot toddy person, and that we'll make them sometime. Okay,
Mrs. Butters, I feel like could be a hot toddy person.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking that we had to do something buttery.
I bet Rowena.
Butter. I was thinking butter
Rowena
rum.
would have a hot toddy some night.
Maybe.
I could see
something.
That.
Yeah.
She would also have something like in a tall martini glass too, for sure.
Something.
Absolutely. But today we're talking about John Winchester.
That's right.
Daddy Winchester. Okay. I feel like there's a lot to unpack with this man.
I think so too.
So he was a Marine.
Yeah.
And I think that has a lot to do with how he approaches pretty much everything.
I think that's fair.
I feel like I want to take another step back because I have a connection to John Winchester. No, not the Marines, to John Winchester's childhood. Okay. You remember, right? His father, Henry Winchester, in the episode when we first meet Henry, they are in Normal, Illinois. Mm-hmm. That is where I'm from.
Get out of town.
I did get out of that town. I don't live there anymore. Yeah. But Normal, Illinois exists. And that's awesome. There's another town that's right smack against it called Bloomington. And I grew up there. Now, the street that they mention where the Men of Letters building was doesn't exist. But...
Well, the Men of... Oh, you mean with the Henry Winchester episode? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
But that means that as a child, before John somehow found his way to Kansas, he lived in my hometown.
He was normal.
He was a normalite. I don't know what they call it.
Normalian. Probably normalite makes the most sense.
Yeah, something like that. So anyway, so there's a connection on that. But yeah, fast forward again or rewinding to whatever.
There,
Yeah,
I'll do all the sound effects.
Thank you so much. We had less ASMR sounds of our drinks being poured this time, but Jenny
Just
will
trust
provide
us.
the rest of the sounds for
Just
you.
trust us. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that being a Marine affected a lot of his approach, especially after Mary died.
That's what I was going to say. I don't think it was that way prior as much. Of course, Dean was 4. Sam was 6 months. Yeah. But if you go back to the pilot, when we first meet John Winchester, you know, he's like, Dean, should we throw the football with Sammy? No, Dad. You know, and he obviously loved his family. They were super cute. And then even in the episodes when Dean and Sam, the second time, went back in time and met their dad, you know, and Dean talked his dad into buying the Impala and all that stuff. And that was played by Matt Cohen. Did an awesome job, I felt. I think Matt Cohen was only in, 3 episodes?
Something like that, yeah.
We'll still feature him sometime.
Oh, for sure. Maybe we'll do something with hot dogs.
That's what I was going to say. We're going to have to. Like
That's a throwback to the Columbus convention.
Yes.
A lot of hot dog talk happened.
It did. It was the Hot Dog Con 2024. Anyhow, John obviously... okay, so let's talk about the loophole real quick.
Okay.
The first time Dean goes back in time, meets his dad at that diner.
Yeah.
A guy walks in and he's like, hey, John, tell your dad I said hi. He's like, will do, Mr. Wilson. John's dad died when he was 5. So does that mean he was saying that to, you know, for a stepfather? Or what's your thoughts?
I never noticed. Step 1.
Okay.
Step 2. Maybe he's too polite to tell Mr. Wilson his dad is dead.
I think it was a plot hole. Anyhow,
You think it was a plot hole?
I do. It was something that they.
Maybe it was a stepdad moment.
My guess is that Henry Winchester hadn't been conceived in their minds yet, and so
the writers, and they're like, nobody's gonna remember that.
Yeah.
Guess who remembered?
Everybody that's ever watched the show several times,
Except for me, until right now.
Except for you, but you know.
Yeah.
You thought you'd watched it for 20 years, so what do you know?
And then I
it's only
found
been
out
11.
it was 11. 11 is almost 20.
It is. It really, really is if you double it. So, anyhow, I'm going to have a hot take on John Winchester. I don't hate John Winchester.
Okay. I think the best way to put this is that I am coming around to John Winchester. For a long time, I was definitely like, worst dad of the year, worst dad in the world
The millennial,
ever goes to John Winchester. I don't think he was a great dad, but
Sure.
I have, as I've been rewatching recently, especially in season 1, we get to see him quite a bit as compared to the rest of the show. And what I found is that I don't like some of his behavior. I don't like him sometimes.
Sure.
But even in moments where he gets very heated and he gets very angry, you find that he's actually doing it because he cares so much.
Yes.
And which is so reflected in Sam and Dean later. They get so angry and everything because they care so deeply.
Yes.
The other thing that I saw that must have slipped my mind in the past 11 years is that he recognizes when he's wrong.
Yes.
He actually... There's a scene in, I don't know if it was in episode 20 of season 1 or 21 or something like that, but there's the scene where John and Sam are in the hotel room. Dean is off investigating or doing something or other, and they start talking about this argument they had earlier that day.
Right.
And John says, I was thinking about what you said, and you're right. Mm-hmm. And you kind of like see a softer side of him, and I think it can be really easy to just remember all the times that like he left them alone, which these are reasons why he's a crappy dad.
Yeah.
Because he left his children alone to eat Lucky Charms for 2 days while he was off hunting a vampire or something. But you do get to see that he does actually care. And seeing that him admit that he was wrong and apologize to his children. And I'm not a parent. You are, and you have adult children.
Right.
Is it hard to recognize your kids as adults and let them be adults?
Sometimes it can be, sure. because sometimes you look at them and you still see that little boy and that little girl. I know that sounds kind of cliche, but as a parent, you kind of mourn that. You mourn, it's a loss
of like your baby.
The loss of your baby.
Yeah,
absolutely. But I, as an adult, I have apologized to my kids for mistakes I made. You know, there was definitely things I could have done better, things I should have done better, things I knew better and still was not great. And I guess to me, when especially when John in the episode Lebanon in season 14, I think it was episode 300, when he comes back and he just tells the boys how proud he is of them and how really what his intents were was to keep them safe. Why didn't John want Sam to leave to go to college? Because he knew he couldn't be with him to keep him safe.
He says, because I didn't want you to be, all I could think about was you being alone.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's huge. And so I respect that aspect of John. Now, leaving a 10-year-old and a 6-year-old in a hotel room for a week or whatever. And sometimes he would have like the hotel staff help keep an eye on them, but still.
Also, you know, A+ parenting.
Yeah. That wasn't cool, obviously. I don't think that was good, but I think that John Winchester takes a lot of heat and hate from the fandom overall. That I understand where people are coming from in that aspect, but I also think that as a parent, maybe I feel like I can give him a little more grace than what some people are able to.
I think the thing for me, the biggest thing for me, is that for as far as his parenting goes, that he cares about his children deeply, but I don't think that excuses the neglect
of course
that
not.
the boys had. And that's why I give him Worst Dad of the World award. Because no matter how much good he thought he was doing, that hyper focus on the revenge neglected his literal children. They were small, like you said, like 10 or 6 or whatever ages that they were. That he was literally off doing his own thing. And sure, he always came back. That doesn't make it better. It doesn't excuse the fact that he still left them alone when they were small.
Yeah. Well, not only that, he left them alone when they were small, and then he expected 7, 8-year-old Dean to be in charge of a 3 or 4-year-old. That's ridiculous. But the first time Missouri was on the show, it was the first time, and that's when we found out that the boys had been looking for John all season 1. And Missouri's on the show, and she's like, your dad loved you boys. And I remember the looks that especially Sam had was like, what? Yeah, okay. But, you know, people that were in John's life, like Pastor Jim and Bobby and Missouri, even though they knew John wasn't stellar, they knew that deep down John's love for his children was real and was there. Did he make great choices? No, not even a little bit. And I wouldn't defend that ever. Right. But I don't hate the character of John Winchester the way some people do.
And that's why I say that I'm coming around, especially like in this rewatch. Not every time, but oftentimes when I start the show over again, I try to like look at it from a different perspective. This isn't something I haven't thought about before. And I'll say, okay, when I'm watching it this time, I want to like see if I notice anything different about this character or that character or some particular thing. And this particular rewatch, looking at John and the way he interacts with them. And that's why I say like, I'm kind of coming around to where I can see, you know, that he did care, but I can't get over
it's hard. The neglect.
And
abuse. It was an abusive neglect.
Absolutely. I mean,
I don't think he abused the boys physically. No. Personally, I don't think so. Mentally, absolutely. When you are browbeating your, I'm just go with 10-year-old son, that he has to keep that 6-year-old safe. Well, that's ridiculous.
That episode, I think we talked about this in the Dean episode, the one with the Striga, that creature that like preys on the kids, and how it comes in and it almost kills Sam. And Dean says, Dad never looked at me the same after that.
Yeah. That's so heartbreaking.
And Dean was like 10, 12, whatever.
Yeah.
I think, you know, we're all human, and was John aware? I'm sure he was aware of the pressure that he put on. And he definitely had, I think, a military style in a lot of the things that he did, like the ways that he raised the boys.
Yeah.
Which is why I said the Marines
And
really
the interesting thing is when
him.
we found out later on is that really John grew up without a father also. Age 5 is basically growing up without a father.
Right, yeah.
From your teenage years. You need a dad or you need a father figure in your life. And we don't know if John ever had one. We know the boys at least had one with Bobby.
Right.
Even though John was alive.
Right.
He was a pretty big absentee father. And I always wonder too what John would have been like had Mary not died. They did that. I think we might talk about this. They did that one episode where they made it sound like he left for a few days because he and Mary were fighting and he just took off.
Right.
I felt like the writers kind of did him dirty in that. I mean, he was already making poor choices with abandoning his boys at hotels and whatnot. But they didn't have to go back a backstory and make him be this bad guy when Dean was 4 also. Couldn't they have just let this happen after Mary's gone? Did it have to be? I'm not sure why that they just made that choice. I don't agree with it, but I know somebody in one of the groups that I'm in thought that it was maybe alluded to that the time when Sam ran away, that maybe John like hit Dean. I watched that episode recently. I don't necessarily think that was alluded to. I think that John probably gave him a good tongue thrashing and like really laid into him, which when you're a daddy pleaser, that's almost worse than getting hit.
Right.
I don't know. I don't believe that he ever physically abused the boys.
I never got that impression from anything either. Yeah. I would definitely say like there would be like an emotional or a mental aspect to it. But not physical. Yeah.
I find it so interesting. How many episodes was John in? 12, 13 episodes maybe? At the most.
No idea. Sure.
So we'll go with that. I find that's the one thing about this show again. Jeffrey Dean and Jared and Jensen always stayed close. Basically he's in season 1. Like the first episode of just a couple of episodes of season 1. He wasn't in all of them. A couple episodes of season 2. And then he was in a couple of other episodes, like maybe a flashback and then he came in on Lebanon. They all, when Jeffrey Dean got married, they all got same matching tattoos together. I mean, that just says a lot about these actors and how important these roles were, even though it was a really a short role, really.
Well, if you think about it, for Jensen and Jared, when they started on this show, they actually were pretty young.
Yeah.
They were
26, 22, yeah.
Somewhat new to like the acting business. And like Jared had been on Gilmore Girls,
for like 5 years, yeah.
A pretty important role there. And Jensen had done some different stuff. Yes. I don't know that he'd been
Dawson's Creek, Smallville.
Right.
He was on Days of Our Lives. He was a soap opera.
Right. So they're still young, pretty young in this business. And then having Jeffrey Dean, who's been around a little bit, because he's a little bit older than them, not a whole lot.
I think he's only like 8, 9, 10 years older than Jensen, 12 maybe. Because I'm 8 years older than Jensen. Jeffrey Dean is older than me. I'm going to say 12 years is my guess. 12 years older than Jensen. So, but he's been in a lot of things. Jared, he was in Gilmore Girls for 5 years. He went to Supernatural for 15 years, and then he did Walker for 4 years. He was the CW for almost 25 years. Jensen he was on Days of Our Lives for 2.5 years, I think, and then he did one little show called Mr. Rhodes, and then he had parts in Smallville and Dawson's Creek, which were also CW shows. And then he had his 15-year stint on Supernatural. So the CW is basically what the boys knew the most. Yeah.
So I was just looking. So Jeffrey Dean is 58. Jensen is 46 and Jared's 42. So he's like 12 and 14 years. 12 and 16 years older than them. So you'd have to imagine, like, even on the set with that, like that 16 is technically old enough to be
right.
To have a child.
Yeah.
Not advised.
Yeah.
But like,
well, 12 is technically old enough, but gross. Yeah.
Exactly. And being that, he's probably acted for longer than they had, that like he's gonna have a bit of like a fatherly even
influence on him.
Outside of the show, like not as their characters.
Yeah, I just I love the fact that the three of them are friends. I think Jensen and Jeff are even closer because Jensen and his wife Danielle introduced Jeffrey Dean and his wife Hillary.
Okay.
He introduced them because Danielle and Hillary were on One Tree Hill together, and it was a blind date. And this is, if you've ever heard Jeffrey talk about it, he's like, we met that night and we haven't separated since. She like moved in immediately with him. Gosh. Yeah. She was actually scheduled to go to Europe for some reason. And he was filming in, I want to say, New Mexico. And he's like, New Mexico is like the Paris of Europe or whatever. And talked her into coming. And she went. It was like a love at first sight scenario.
Wow.
You don't really hear about that very often.
No,
but
that's amazing.
Yeah. So that's what we bring at this podcast. Just little nuggets all over the place.
Little fun facts to put in your little treasury.
Put in your hat and use it for Supernatural Trivia Night. But anyhow, I'm glad to hear that you are not like, you just hate John and you won't.
I definitely in the past would have put myself staunchly in the like, I hate him, he's the worst person ever category. Maybe not the worst person ever. There are probably some worse people.
Hitler.
But yeah, whatever. Abusive father, Hitler, same thing.
Yeah.
No. But I guess one of the things that I try to do with all people, fictional or real? Nonfiction people.
That's us. We're the nonfiction people.
I try to understand what a person has gone through that they behave the way they do right now. Not that your past excuses your behavior, but understanding that to better understand a person and be able to interact with them if I have to. Maybe he's not so great at being a father because the only father figure he had was a drill sergeant.
Yeah.
Who knows? We don't know because it was never really explored on the show. But trying to, understand a person's history to be able to understand like who they are now.
No, I'm glad that you're giving the benefit of the doubt. It didn't totally sway you and you're like, oh, he was a great father.
No.
I don't think anybody in the fandom would be bold enough to say he was a great dad.
Yeah.
And if they were, I kind of feel sorry for them because they must have had really, really crappy dads. Yeah. I'm glad that I'm glad you don't hate him as much as you initially did.
No.
That's good. Good for you. You're growing. Maybe someday you won't be nonfiction. You'll just be a real person.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll be a real boy. Oh my gosh.
Dawn and I did get to meet Jeffrey Dean Morgan, the actor.
I did not get to meet Jeffrey.
What?
No.
You didn't meet him?
No.
Oh, man, missed opportunity. Well, I got to meet him. I took a photo with him, and then I got his autograph.
Okay.
I loved him. I honestly didn't know what I was coming into with Jeffrey Dean Morgan. He played John Winchester, who obviously wasn't the most lovable character in the world. And then he played a character on The Walking Dead called Negan, who was definitely not the most lovable character in the world.
I will freely admit that some of my feelings towards Jeffrey Dean Morgan may have to do with the fact that his character on The Walking Dead, Negan, killed my favorite character on The Walking Dead, Glenn. When I heard that this new guy came on and killed Glenn, I stopped watching that show. Okay. And I never started watching it again.
So when I did my photo op with Jeff, I said, I got to tell you something. He goes, what's that? I said, Glenn had it coming. And he busted out laughing.
I quit. I'm leaving.
Full disclosure, I don't believe Glenn had it coming. I loved Glenn. But I had to say that to him, and I got the reaction I wanted. It was perfect. I doubt he's heard that very often. I really enjoyed him.
I thought he was funny. Jeffrey's panel.
Yeah.
I did. And I was like listening to him and going, okay, he's not John Winchester.
He's not Negan.
It'll be okay.
He's
and
a
I was
real
like,
boy.
he's a real boy. I was looking at his filmography and all the stuff he's been in, and I'm a big Star Trek fan. And I was like, oh, he was on Star Trek. That's cool. And then he's like, I hated my Star Trek character. And I was like,
did he have to wear prosthetics?
He had to wear so much prosthetics.
Yes.
And I was like,
okay,
that's fair.
Yeah.
And set that aside. I don't know. Maybe I need to watch him. Was he on like ER or something?
He was in one episode of ER, but he was on Grey's Anatomy. Is the one you're thinking about?
Great.
Yeah,
Whatever.
he was
one
on
of those medical shows.
Oh, there's a big difference between Grey's Anatomy and ER. That's a whole different podcast. We won't.
The
get
difference
into that.
is I've never watched either of them.
Well, you're missing out on ER. It's the best medical show ever was, and I will die on that hill. Anyhow, Grey's Anatomy, never seen it, but I still say ER's better. He played a character called Denny, and he was actually doing Grey's at the same time he was doing Supernatural. He was flying back and forth,
and that
doing
was
both.
why it was hard for them to have him.
In Grey's, they gave him, I don't know if they gave him a sweeter deal, and he took that, and that's why. Because I think initially, from my understanding, when I've listened to Rich and Rob's podcast, they wanted to have John on longer with the voice than what they got him for.
So I wonder if somewhere on the internet,
in the interwebs,
on the interwebs, if there is some kind of like animosity between Supernatural and Grey's Anatomy fans because of that.
Well, not only that, Missouri was going to be a recurring character. Like, she was going to be the Bobby.
She should have been.
But we wouldn't have had Bobby.
We love Bobby, but more Missouri would have been fantastic.
Do you know why we didn't get her? Because she went to Grey's Anatomy. She got full-time job.
Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah. See,
Two strikes.
Don't watch it. Watch ER.
Just watch Supernatural again. It'll be fine.
Misha was also in an episode of ER, and so was Jared Padalecki.
Okay.
There you go.
I was like, was Jared like 8?
I think he might have been in high school. Okay. So ER ran from 95 to 2010. It was a 15-year run also.
That's like my whole childhood.
Yeah, well, there you go. I watched it from the very beginning, and I've watched it 6 times at least. That's why basically after 60 years of ER, I can pretty much diagnose anything. I could probably do brain surgery and repair the valve in your heart. Just saying, if you need me, I have a lot of experience.
Please don't call us. I'm going to have to like Google all the legalese to put in this cap. Don't listen to Jenny. Don't listen to Jenny, you guys. Guys, gals, whoever else. Don't listen to Jenny.
I'm telling you, I have diagnosed a lot of people.
Nonfiction people, do not listen to Jenny.
When I diagnose them, I tell them to go to a doctor, and I tell them this is what the diagnosis is going to be. I do not say I can fix them. I just made that up. I can't do surgery. Just letting you know, I lied. I really can't.
That retraction was super quick. I appreciate it.
There you go. You don't have to look up legalese now.
Wow.
I do know what a pneumothorax is, though, but I couldn't repair one. So there you go. Whoops. Let's go back to John.
I'm going to just sip this old-fashioned real quick.
I'm telling you, I get a little floopy when I drink, and then I just say things like I could do surgery. I don't really mean it. I just say it. Okay. Anyhow, what did you think about John and Mary's relationship?
We don't get to see much of it. Mm-hmm. You definitely get a very strong impression that they loved each other deeply.
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay. I say we don't get to see much of it. What I mean is Mary died. And then it didn't happen anymore.
There you go. That's it.
I think that's more what I mean.
We saw them back in time, like before they got married, and then shortly after they were married.
We saw Mary's deal with Yellow Eyes.
Yeah.
To bring John back.
Exactly.
What kind of like deep well of emotion, like connection, do you need to have to be like, I will make a deal with a demon to save this person's life?
Over my father to
save this person's life. Yeah. That's pretty intense.
For sure.
Also, that means everything is Mary's fault. But anyways.
Well, Mary is our next episode. We can discuss that then.
We will blame Mary Winchester for the other half of Sam and Dean's issues in the next episode.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. So, no, their relationship, it's very intense and complicated, but isn't every relationship that way?
Sure.
And I don't know, I guess because we don't get to see them together a lot because they both die very early on, when we have that episode Lebanon and they have that family meal.
Yeah.
For me, that whole scene, that whole thing is very, it almost feels artificial. And obviously this is a TV show.
Not to me.
And I want it to be what the boys always wanted and what they always deserved.
And that's what I saw.
But
I loved it.
It's so hard because they didn't grow up with their parents.
Right.
Their mom dies when they're small children.
Right.
Their dad dies when they're in their early 20s, which is formative years too.
Sure. Yeah.
And they're basically raising each other.
Yeah. From the moment of their mom's death, really.
And then, shock of all shocks, their mom comes back, and that doesn't mean everything's all good and well.
No, but because we can't talk about her too much. She's the next episode.
So, yeah, it's complicated.
That's a good word, yeah.
I think it's very obvious that they loved each other deeply. Mm-hmm. And I think that Sam and Dean could have been very different people if they'd had both of their parents.
Yeah.
Growing up.
But on the other hand, I don't think they would have had the deep bond and connection they had together. Mm-hmm. And I think that was portrayed in the episode when Dean was poisoned by the gin. Mm-hmm. And he and Sam had no relationship. Sam hated him, basically.
Yes.
And their mom was still alive and their dad had died, I don't know, when he was 50 something.
Some heart attack or something.
Yeah, he'd been around for quite a while.
Yeah.
So I think that we needed to have happen what happened so those boys they literally went to hell and back for each other. Absolutely.
Multiple times, yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I guess the consensus is with John Winchester. Mm-hmm. I don't hate him. I think he made a lot of mistakes.
My hate meter is decreasing for
John
Winchester.
And I'm so happy to hear that because I know when we first started talking about Supernatural and you're like, oh, John Winchester, if I had a Winchester, I'd take care of him. No.
Not my words, but definitely my sentiment.
Yeah. And I was like, okay. And then I watched it and I'm like, well, I kind of understand some of it, to a degree. Because as a parent, you make mistakes. Mm-hmm. We all do. I mean, if there's parents listening to this and they've never made a mistake, God bless them. I don't believe them.
How?
But bless them.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that John overall did the best that he could. Let me rephrase that. John overall did the best that he thinks that he could do. I think that he could have done better, but I think that he thinks he did the best he could at that time.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that when he looks back, he has regrets and he sees where he could have done better. Mm-hmm. So we don't hate John. John doesn't get 2 thumbs up.
No.
Maybe a half a thumb up. I don't know what that is. Just a bent thumb. That's what
I was going to say 1 thumb sideways.
I like half a thumb.
Which doesn't sound great either.
But no, I'm glad that you're watching it kind of through that filter and trying not to hate him so viscerally.
Yeah. And like you said, I started watching the show over 10 years ago. Yeah. I was a different person 10 years ago than absolutely. I am now. And so I think that a lot of my feelings and emotions towards the characters, towards John Winchester have room to evolve. We're allowed to evolve as people.
Absolutely. I've been watching the show for a year, so I'm basically the same person I was. Yeah. So, I have not evolved.
So Jenny's
I've probably devolved.
Don't matter. No.
I've devolved, especially since I've been drinking whiskey.
She's going backwards, and she's floopy, and she's got half a thumb.
Yeah. There you go. So next time that we all get together, meaning you and me and all of our mass of listeners, or at least my mom, I hope, we will talk about Mary Winchester because there is a lot to unpack with Mary Winchester,
Mama Winchester, too. Yeah. There's a lot of feelings there, too.
Yeah, Mama Mary. So we'll tackle that next. But thanks for joining us. As always, leave comments, leave suggestions. If you hate us, that's okay, but be kind about it.
Give us half a thumb up.
Yeah, half a thumb. Just a half a thumb. We'll work on getting the full thumb up.
If you're not following our Facebook page, Spirits and Supernatural on Facebook.
Yes.
On Instagram, we're on all the streaming places. So
yeah, we're streamers.
Share us with your friends if you find us tolerable.
Yes, thank you for listening. Have a great day.